particular.
There is no danger.
No. I don't think there's a particular reason as to why that particular instance must then be purported as the most important.
It was a public mass resurrection in broad daylight, and no one ever made any capital out of it. Paul didn't, Acts didn't, no one did. In fact, none of the early fathers knew, but no one knew anything about it. A public mass resurrection in broad daylight, much more impressive than Jesus' resurrection, much more impressive. You have multiple resurrections, and no one knows anything about it.
He accused us of committing a
In
historical
broad daylight, in Jerusalem, of all places.
He accused us of doing a historical fallacy.
I mean, just beggars belief. I mean, how can you possibly take this seriously?
I guess those days walking zombies were a normal thing then, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, he said they were vegetarian. As if that made any difference to the story. They didn't eat anyone.
And then my rebuttal to that was that there are many great works that Jesus himself committed. Casting out demons, healing the blind.
Yeah, but mass resurrections in broad daylight in Jerusalem are very different. Just 2 verses in Matthew, that's it. That's it. Nothing. There's no other source in history that ever mentions it. Nothing. 0. 2 little verses, and it outranks Jesus' resurrection any day because you have masses of resurrections. Well, obviously, but he says it doesn't matter. But it does, because if Matthew can make stuff up like that, or even report stuff he believed to be true that was made up before him, it means he's not a credible witness.
Even Matthew itself, is it credible?
Yes and no. It's complicated. You have to look through each story in itself.
I mean, if it was in other Gospels, you maybe have some grounding maybe in other Gospels, but all 3 Gospels deny it except Matthew.
Yeah.
Where are you from? Latvia. I was going to say Bosnia. Bosnia. Yeah, I was going to say Bosnia.
No,
It's close, isn't
he's
it? No?
Latvian.
Latvia's like the Balkan
Are
country.
you from Riga?
You know Riga?
No, but I just know of it. Yeah. Another city. Riga's the capital of Latvia.
I think if that wasn't the case,
You're Muslim, obviously.
We're Muslim?
why is this scripture common as like the 4th century versus the 1st?
What's your channel?
Oh, really? Oh, God. Okay.
That's amazing.
What happened at the greatest time in the 1st century, or 2nd, or 3rd, or like for the 3rd?
So I think we've mauled him. I mean, we've gone through this issue quite thoroughly.
So there is no indication.
Paul, you come here every Sunday?
Not every, most Sundays when I can. Yeah.
I want to see more.
Huh?
I see you like very often on YouTube. Like,
Yeah, I wasn't here last. I was away last Sunday, but I come when I can. Yeah.
Independent.
so impressive, mashallah. Your YouTube channel. How is it growing?
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, it's good.
With Jesus, and then when on top of it,
Some of the Coptics now.
there is no indication that they believe substantially different things about Jesus. So if you believe in the idea of God preserving the message,
I think that's probably it, the end of it.
We might as well give a da'wah and ask him, have you read the Quran before? Go on.
There's lots of part of the religion that has been preserved. Him, Jesus being God, or co-equal to God, is that preserved?
yes, because he's independently.
Him being co-equal.
At least he does the research though, right? He looks like he does reading and he actually tries to rationalize his faith. He's not just walking around screaming, Jesus is Lord.
Oh, this is true. It's better than that. This is very true. Yeah.
If you were to submit the fact that it's a publication, so like let's say he was okay, that doesn't make any sense. So would you then go on to ask him to reject Matthew? Like what's the next point? Like if he said yeah,
Well,
that doesn't make any sense.
there are many kind of more liberal Muslims that wouldn't have a ton, more liberal Christians, I should say, who didn't have a problem with what we've said. They would say, yeah, there's some myth in it. They would just take it on the chin and move on. But down here, you get very conservative Christians who feel they have to defend absolutely everything, and that's not easy, as you can see. So
If he was to give up the fact that okay that didn't happen, now what next? So does that like is that a proof for Matthew's inconsistency?
it's a proof that Matthew used fabricated stories in his gospel, which calls into question the reliability of him on other things as well, including the resurrection appearances.
I've heard that, I'm not very like expert in the gospel, but I've heard that John is always like making Jesus more divine than he is compared to others.
Absolutely right. Yeah, it's the last gospel written. It's seen by scholars as a much more highly interpreted account of Jesus' life, and attributes to Jesus various sayings which are not historical.
So and other gospels don't agree with John in this aspect.
Absolutely right. Yeah, it's quite different. John is quite different from Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and that's one of the reasons why scholars prefer the earlier Gospels to John for historical reasons.
Really?
Yeah.
So basically, that's one right.
Yes.
And I always see use this verse, which I've given to I say in the United States, so I'm an undergraduate, and I always say my Christian friends, the Catholic, the same argument you use. Like when one guy comes up to Jesus.
Mark chapter 10. Yeah, Mark chapter 10, verse 17.
What should I do to get eternal life? Yeah. Why do you call me good? Is that only in Mark?
No, it's in Matthew and Luke, but, well, hang on, it's more complicated.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a story in Mark. The standard understanding is that Luke and Matthew used Mark in writing their own accounts. Yes, they gobbled up Mark, but in Matthew's case, for example, they made subtle changes to Mark, and in this story, Matthew made a change. And what he did was to remove Jesus' denial that he is God by changing the words.
So what did he say?
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Is there an end?
Yes, it's called The Return of Jesus.
Ooh, exciting stuff.
And we can all agree on that. Muslims and Christians.
But wait. Is he coming here to destroy the devil, or is he coming here to break all the crosses and kill the pigs?
Yeah, he's going to come back and vindicate Islam, basically.
No disagreements.
And tell the Christians they've got it wrong, badly wrong.
All right, well, unfortunately, when he comes back in our belief, he ain't going to be all that nice to his enemies. So,
well, it's a good thing that we're not his enemies as Muslims. It's a good thing we're on the right side of that problem.
Constantly blaspheming to the Holy Spirit is not going to put you on the good side of God.
Well, worshipping Jesus God when he denied he was God in the earliest Gospel. Mark chapter 10, he denied that he was God.
He never denied that he was God.
Verse 17, 18, he denied he was God.
There is no instance of him saying I'm not God.
He denied he was God.
You know what? I will say your language is very loaded. I will say.
I hope so. That's the whole point. If it was empty of any freight, I'd worry. If it was just sounds coming out of my mouth.
I'm surprised that I had the discussion with a Muslim for like more than an hour and we didn't fight.
Would you like a fight? Is that what you're looking for? Anyone want to fight this guy? He's a Christian. Christian who wants to fight.
No, physically, no, verbally. But no, it was nice.
Where's the accent from?
Huh?
Where's the accent from?
A bunch of places, man.
What's your name? Can you give a name? David.
Yeah.
Ah, named after King David, the monotheist. Yeah.
The monotheist who
sorry, I couldn't
sent
resist.
his best friend Uriah to the front lines of battle to die so that he could take his wife. And as a result, God punished him. But then, coincidentally, I believe it's in the Hadith or somewhere in the Quran, there's the idea that Zayd, Muhammad's adopted son, had his wife taken after they divorced, and then later was sent to fight some Byzantines and died. In that occurrence, huh? So is that completely wrong? So Zayd was killed by Byzantines.
I think he still wants to have a fight, so he's still trying to rile us up. We're too tired to fight, really.
No.
Jihad another day.
Oh God! I guess the crusade a different day then.
He divorced his wife, not taken her.
But why?
He divorced his wife.
Because
King David, he sent the guy purposefully because he wanted to
Thank you.
his wife.
And then,
that guy divorced
It's too tired saying of this. I'm
and then what happened to
exhausted.
Zayd later?
He lived 15 years and then he died.
But then wasn't he sent by Muhammad?
No, he went by himself. Muhammad died when he passed away.
Yeah?
No, he died later on, like way later, like after 5 years. After 5 years.
I will look into that section, but I was trying to make a comparison between David and
I'll tell you why.
between David and Muhammad.
I think you're right. You got it from Facebook. Those arguments sound familiar.
Oh, really?
No, that's one.
There was polemic.
I hope that's
Oh, really?
No, there's lots of them.
Well, I didn't know he was a
There's people on our website that all
Isn't that what he
the
said?
problematic hadiths, all the sources, all of this. They have a little list, you know. You think they do this research? Come on. There's people online that literally have this post.
So it's not like.
But tell him the purpose behind it.
But then what?
Why Allah told him to marry her.
Yeah, but
Because he saw her.
No, because the Arabs wouldn't marry the wife of the adopted son.
Oh, so to cancel abortion. Oh, sorry, sorry. To cancel adoption.
No, adoption. The fact that it was in their culture.
To adopt.
No. So you can't marry the wife of the adopted son.
Okay.
That was within their culture.
So then why?
You're right. He's now rehashing this old Christian polemics for a second.
That's the only good thing with that is you come across enough of them. it's the same ones. And then after time you start throwing the rebuttals out like that.
They've all been refuted, rebutted a million times before. It's all.
Yeah, I heard this one 5 times. I can't be off.
I think I might
Did
just.
you know? I found this out the other day. Fascinating. Did you know that John Locke is Unitarian?
Yes.
That's another element of this Isaac Newton.